Welcome to Shinoken's World. Today, I would like to invite Mr. Stewart Swerdlow. He is best known for his involvement in the Montauk Project. This is a secret project for mind control, which he participated. He wrote a book called Blue Blood and True Blood, which translated into Japanese as well. Mr. Stewart, welcome to my show.
Thank you, Ken, so much. It's an honor to be here.
It's really an honor for me too. So I have read your book, which is written in Japanese. Mr. Stewart, could you kindly introduce yourself to a Japanese audience and tell us about what Blue Blood, True Blood is all about?
Okay, it's a long story. I guess I would have to go back to my family history. And perhaps your audience knows, because I have been to Japan and have done seminars in Japan, that my great uncle, Yakov Sverdlov, was the first president of Soviet Union. And because of that and my family's history, during 1970 to 1983, I was used in a Montauk Project, which was about mind control, programming, time travel, weather manipulation, all kinds of electromagnetic experiments and projects. And so they had also used alien devices that were given to the government many decades before with information. But government of the United States found out that a lot of the information that was given to them was not correct. For example, we know that when we travel in time and space, every point has a specific frequency or vibration. No two points are the same. So if I travel from point A to point B, I need to get the frequency of B matched to A and the instant connection, because they cannot exist in two different places.
Yes.
So during the Montauk Project, the government found out that the information that was given to them by the aliens was not 100% correct. They only gave part correct. So our job at Montauk Project was to find out the true coordinates of where they wanted to go, time and space. Unfortunately, in the beginning years, it was a very big experiment to find out the exact frequency coordinates. So they used people that they felt were expendable. For example, orphans, drug addicts, criminals, people that they took off the street. And they would send them to a specific point and see if they would come back. Sometimes they did not come back. But in addition to all of this, if we go back to 1943, the government had a Philadelphia experiment. You may have heard of this one.
Yes.
And that is when they took a ship called the USS Eldridge, and they put electromagnetic field around it so that it would travel in time and space. But when they did this, the human beings that were on board went into a different frequency. Some of them, they went through the walls and floors of the ship. Some of them evaporated. And when the ship was returned to the point of origin, some of them had passed away. They were stuck in metal and so on. And some, two of them, had jumped overboard and connected 40 years in the future, Montauk Project.
Wow.
Yes. And so there was a loop that was created between 1943 1983 through this time experiment.
Okay.
It's a loop. And so what happens is every 40 years, there is this loop that recurs over and over again. But Ken, something else is happening, because the Earth now is being bombarded with very intense gamma rays. And this is changing the molecular structures and electromagnetic frequencies of the planet, people, everything. That's why we have so many weather changes, earthquakes, and so on. So this is affecting also the time-space continuum right now. See, and especially for Japan, it's extremely sensitive because of the geological sensitivities in Japan and volcanic activity. So Japan needs to be very aware of what's happening. Okay. But going back to Montauk Project, it was not just time travel. It was also the need that they felt to control population. The reason is that when you have few thousand people that need to control billions of people, the only way they felt they could do this is to mind control them, program them so that they would do what the government wanted them to do. And we are seeing the results of that now, especially, let's say, North America, Europe, with all of these left-wing ideas and strange belief systems, which is bizarre. We have also, unfortunately, the entrance of what we would call astral beings, demonic beings that are taking control. And this is why is like chaos on the planet now. You know, and the turning point was 2020 with the COVID issue. And that led to all the things that are happening since then. The gamma rays started to bombard the planet in 2022, beginning of 22, and will probably go to the beginning of 2025. So right now we're in the peak, the middle of this bombardment, which is coming from Betelgeuse star system. Scientists have been monitoring this since 1993, when there was a nova in this star system that put X-ray and gamma ray towards the Earth. So the sun, our sun, is also affected. Coronal mass ejections, storms, and so on. This is changing the frequency magnetic field of the Earth. It's making the magma under the Earth more hot, causing tectonic plates to move more. And so we are seeing all of these eruptions, the worst being, for example, in last year in the island of Tonga in South Pacific. So much steam and water was released into the atmosphere. And that's why we have all these floods, all of these storms. It's a very bad situation.
I see.
Yes. And so there are governments, well, the main governments are taking advantage of this to create a war situation, hunger situation. They are blocking South China Sea, Red Sea, Panama Canal, so that the merchandise cannot get any place. You see?
I see.
This is how they will control people, because people will need things. They can't have things. The government puts more restrictions.
I see. So what you're saying is this about the Montauk Project. You said that they success and two people went to 40 years later
Ahead. Yep.
ahead. And did they come back or they didn't come back?
No, they stayed in 1983.
Really?
Yes, yes. And I was working with them. That's when the project crashed, August 12th, 1983. The computer system at that time was Cray computer, which in those days was the most advanced computer system. But what they did was they had human beings connected to the computer system to use the brain function to operate this. And so when this loop happened, it created a surge in the power, and the computer system would not turn off. And it was starting to pull in energy from other dimensions. Nobody could control it. And so they had to destroy the equipment in order to stop this. Otherwise, it would have been possible that they would have created a black hole and destroy the Earth and even solar system.
So what do you think, what's going to happen after 2025?
That's a very big question, Ken. I can tell you that there is a plan for super states to be created.
Super state, okay.
So, in the Western Hemisphere, North America, South America, Caribbean becomes one superstate.
Okay.
Russia is going to move west across Europe and create a new Russian superstate. China is going to move, and already Taiwan, Philippines already began to control most of East Asia, even to Australia and New Zealand. Japan is in trouble. South Korea is in trouble. You understand? There's a reason why Kim Jong-un sends these missiles towards Japan and so on, is a message of what's going to happen. So this is a concern for people in East Asia. Already, it's not on the news completely. Taiwan is completely surrounded by Chinese vessels. Last week, Philippines vessel was attacked by Chinese vessel.
Okay.
Even they had sword fight like from hundreds of years ago. And so this is what's starting to occur now. So I would tell Japanese people to be prepared for these things in the very near future.
So reason for the super state is to prepare for the disaster or to control?
Both.
Both. I see.
Both. Because each country individually cannot do anything. It's not enough.
Right.
So the idea of having huge superstate government over large areas, this will have greater control system for the people. I can tell you that there are people, scientists, who are trying to create protection for the Earth to block these energies from coming in. I can also tell you, and I think it's in the Blue Blood book you have, that outside our solar system, the Kuiper Belt and the Oort Belt, the region around the solar system, there is a conglomeration of like groups of beings who have come to surround the solar system. And the problem is they are not all friendly to us. There are beings who think that humans are like parasite, that they should be destroyed. There are others who think that we should be like a prism until we become smarter. And there are others who think we should help them. So this is the issue. Nobody's agreeing what to do. You understand?
Yes.
So this has become, even the US government, the Russian government, Chinese government, they all know these things.
I see, I see.
Yes.
I watched your hyperspace seminar on YouTube channel. And it was very interesting that you are teaching all the structure, how this system work. And my understanding is we need to now understand how to control our brain and then to perhaps communicate by accessing to the film that you mentioned. And can we, that human can change our the reality by accessing to the, I should say, the hyperspace?
Hyperspace is a term that I use to describe beyond physical reality. There are several, we have the physical reality, then we have an astral layer, which is a borderline, and then there's hyperspace, which is pure energy, pure thought. And so that is what controls and creates all the rest. So if we can control our own thinking, it is like I say in that video, your brain is like the projector, your thoughts are the film, and the reality is the screen. So you don't like the movie, you have to change the script, the way you think. People have a difficulty with this. That's why they have created mind control and programming, so that they create your thoughts so that they use you to create the reality. You see? So we need to, in fact, I hope you can see this archetype card I have. It's called Brown merger symbol. Can you see this one?
Yes.
Yeah. So if we put this by our pineal gland,
okay,
it reintegrates the left brain and right brain.
Wow.
So that there is more integration and balance between the way we think, our emotions, and so on. And so that's part of what I teach in the deprogramming classes. And of course, I have books on those and videos on that. You may have seen on the YouTube many videos about the deprogramming and so on, using color therapy and archetypes and those kind of things.
Interesting.
And my wife and I do webinar every Wednesday evening for teaching these things to the public.
Do you have any recommended book that you publish to learn about those things?
We have 50 books so far, maybe more by now. But you can look at Hyperspace Helper book.
Hyperspace Helper.
Okay. Yeah. Healer's Handbook.
Okay.
The one you have, Blue Blood. There's also True Reality of Sexuality, which is about the deprogramming. We have Advanced Hyperspace Techniques. If you go on my website, expansions.com, you will see all of the books and all of the topics that you can learn. Yes.
So my hope is that, I think that you mentioned that, if human become smarter to understand the real Earth system, how it work, then we have a hope. Do you think that the human has a hope to survive by understanding the current reality?
That's a very good question, Ken. In fact, I am working with a French physicist who is very high up in NASA. And I speak to him every day. He is concerned about what you just said, because there's an issue with the way humanity acts and thinks. Instead of helping each other, we fight with each other. Instead of saying we all come from the same place, we have a hatred and racism, which makes no sense if you understand about creation. See, so this is the issue. Now, that's why they have the programming so that we don't do these things. And there's also the media of the earth as a propaganda to turn people against each other. What you hear on the news, I can tell you maybe more than 90% is not true. They make up stories, they make up videos. But to answer your question, the danger now is the AI system. Because the AI, if not programmed correctly, can determine that humans are not valuable and should be destroyed. See? In Japan, in South Korea, very advanced AI robots being created. In fact, I just read today about in Japan, they're making human skin over AI robot bodies so that they look like a people.
Oh, wow.
And so, in fact, I was told by another scientist that you could be standing next to somebody and they're not the real people and you don't know it. They already existed. So what we hope to do is to program Bible code into AI system so that it knows never to destroy humanity.
Nice.
I can tell you from Montauk Project that they learned that in our galaxy and other galaxies, there have been AI systems that have destroyed the planets that created them. Many civilizations have been destroyed. And those AI send out signals into space to see who is there and who they should control or destroy. This is an issue that people are not told about. This is one of the reasons the governments don't tell you the truth about UFOs and aliens, because they don't want you to connect to these things. So there is a way to block this with plasma shield. And so we're hoping to get that done in the next 2 or 3 years before the worst things happen. But the planet is changing. It's not the global warming like they tell you. This is not true. In fact, I was told just yesterday that within 2 years, ice age will begin and will cause a lot of food problems around the world. The polar vortex in the last couple of years has been very strong, which means it stays at the pole. But this year, the polar vortex will be weak. And so it will slide down over the northern hemisphere, and the North America, Europe, North Asia will have a very big problem with cold and snow and so on, and growing food. So these are things that are a concern to many scientists right now.
I see. So now I understand, because Bill Gates, he's trying to make artificial meat. And
Yes.
they're preparing for this disaster to come to survive. And that's why I think COVID happened. And in that case, they're not trying to depopulate humanity, but instead, are they trying to survive and reorganize our Earth?
Those are very big questions, Ken. And I have to say, I don't like to talk about people, but Bill Gates is not doing something good. The artificial food that you talk about, if you consume that, it will change your genetic structure and you will not be a human being anymore. Just like they tell people to eat now insects. This is very dangerous. Insects have in their bodies pathogens, bacteria, virus that they can survive with, but humans cannot. And so if you consume this, you will be contaminated and your genetics will change. So it's very dangerous. Nobody should eat insects. Nobody should eat artificial meat. This is very bad. And so people like Bill Gates, he has an agenda. He has an agenda. And I have some information which I can't go into detail, but he's not the original Bill Gates. And his wife Melinda, not the original. Look at pictures from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Look now.
Different.
These are not the same people. It has nothing to do with aging. It's not the same people. Just like President Biden, he's not the same original one. You can see even the mask around his, you can see it. So last night in the debate, his big collar up, so you cannot see his mask. Yeah, yeah.
So reason for that is to control the human, I assume. So when do you think this disaster will occur? My understanding, people say that it's going to be 2040, 2039, during, or even earlier?
2 years, within 2 years. Yeah. They tell you so far away, so you don't worry about it now. But it's coming soon. It's coming very soon. In fact, just yesterday, they told me 2 years.
Yes.
It will be very bad.
So could you advise Japanese, people what should we do to be prepared? Our mind and physically, both.
When I was working in Japan, and this was 10 years ago, and I love Japan. I love the food. Oh, you have the best food. And they said to me, "Oh, we're not worried about it because Japan is shaped like a dragon, and the dragon will fly away and make everybody safe." I said, "Oh, it's going to fly away, but not in a good way." So I try to encourage everybody to do their balancing, rounding technique, protection, the color violet, like a amethyst color. You put this around the country of Japan, above and underneath, and it will keep protection for the country and the people. And you put it around your home, around yourself, your loved one, and so on. It will keep you protected. Violet color, not purple, violet, like amethyst color. Okay, and I tried to teach this to the people back then, a long time ago. The problem is the translation, because some words don't have the same meaning when you translate from English to Japanese is different, very different. But what I did find out and learned about Japan, because you have 3 different alphabet
Yes.
that you use in your language, and one of them, Ken, is almost identical to Hebrew language.
Yes.
In fact, there was a song that children sing in Japanese that they don't even know what it means, but it's a Hebrew song. And so you know this. And so I also went to Aomori, Aomori in the north. This is the place where they said that Jesus is buried. But it's not him. It's not him. Christ and his children went to Srinagar in what is now India. And his grandchildren went across Asia to Japan. And that's the beginning of Japanese royal family. I went to a house in Aomori, and they have a place in the wall with stone objects that came from ancient Israel that they brought from 2,000 years ago. I don't know if you've ever been or seen. I did documentary. I think it's still on internet. I'm not sure.
I watched that.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And then they said that they went to Alaska and so on. It was a very fascinating story. And the people in that prefecture understand and know this story. And I know that it's true. So Japanese people have a strong connection to biblical Hebrew. And so because of this, I believe they'll be saved. They'll be saved because of the ancestry and the genetics.
Yes, I have a hope with the genetics especially, and we are researching about the connection with the Hebrew, and we have a 400 word common word.
Yes, yes.
And we sing a lot of song during a young age, and it's all written in Hebrew. And it was amazing to understand the real meaning of it, especially, national anthem is also Hebrew. We didn't understand what's going on, and with it, some strange word, came up,
Yeah, yeah. And so it's not an accident. It's a proof of a history, proof of a history, you see. And so I believe that this is what will help to save Japan. I believe that.
I think so. And the spirituality awakening, I think, is the key to wake Japanese people up. But however, Japanese people are very calm and not easy to understand those kind of, the things that you cannot see. What's the best, I think I should say better way to communicate with those kind of people?
Okay, so when you use color ice blue, this comes from the throat chakra. And when you communicate and you put ice blue, it's a communication. Then you put pale yellow to the person you're speaking to.
Okay.
Pale yellow is understanding. So I communicate ice blue, you understand pale yellow. You see? That's how you can communicate. Also, from pineal gland to pineal gland, you can create energy line. So even you don't have to speak, you just think and communicate with the person. That's how we should really communicate. I noticed in Japan that the people, like you mentioned, they don't like to express emotion. They keep it inside. And I understand that maybe it's cultural to be polite, to not, but it creates trauma and stress. And then if you hold in too long, you explode. And this is why Japan has a volcano, because volcanoes hold and hold and hold and explode.
I see.
It reflects personality of the people.
I see.
So I said to the people in Japan, and I said also to Iceland, if you express yourself properly, no more volcano eruption, no more.
That's true.
So I said this, yeah. And so it worked for a long time, and so, but of course now so much pressure in the world that people get crazy, and I know that there's a lot of people from Japan that are emigrating to other places, and the birth rate in Japan has gone down. And so this needs to be changed to a positive way. So if they study hyperspace work, if they study deprogramming, and if they study proper communication, then I think this can also be changed for the positive. And if they keep the protection around Japan, not just above, but underneath, it will block earthquake activity and military war activity. Okay, this is very important now. Because China will become very aggressive to Japan.
Yes, I think so. Are you talking about the physical protection or mental protection?
It's both. It's both. It's like a spiritual that then comes into the physical.
I see. So it's all connected, like you mentioned. There's the mental reality and also physical reality. And my you know, yeah, I'm curious about the free will. So, do you think that human has free will, or can we change our reality by accessing to the hyperspace?
And so I talk about this in my books. Humans do not have free will. We have free choice.
I see.
Only God has free will. We have a choice within the will of God. So for example, as an analogy, the free will of God is we have a freeway that goes from point A. Are we supposed to go from here to there? That's the free will of God. Our choice, what exit we take on the way. That's our choice. But we still have to get to the end, but we take diversion along the way. That's the free choice. See? I believe that we are now in end times, like it says in the Bible, the end times. So we have now to make the choice. We are going to go to the right side or the wrong side. That's the choice we have. There's no alternative now. It's time to make the choice.
I see. So in order to do that, like you mentioned during the video, we have to have a different perspective, a view, not from an ant view under the carpet, but from a more outside, high above view in order to understand this pattern. So how can we do that to have a different perspective?
I hope you can see this archetype is a silver infinity.
Oh, okay.
Oversoul. This goes above your crown chakra. And so you go pineal gland to oversoul, God mind. This is your like God mind internet connection. This connects you to the God mind from your pineal gland. So this is a very important symbol, silver infinity, to use every day.
You mentioned about this three camera, consciousness, subconsciousness, and superconsciousness. So do we have to understand how the brain structure works in order to make a good choice? We can control our right hemisphere, left hemisphere by closing our nose, breathing, understanding how to breathe will help us to make a good choice.
Even more simple than this, we have logical mind, left brain, spiritual mind, superconscious, right brain, and subconscious pineal gland. If we balance at the pineal, we bring both hemispheres in. So we have the logic, the creative, and the balance, and then we can make a decision. Always keep balance at the pineal gland. That's how you decide.
And you think a meditation will help to increase the pineal gland, function?
I say more visualization.
I see.
Because meditation, you are listening. Right. Visualization, you are creating something. So we create from pineal gland that projects out.
How do we do the visualization? Is it different than meditation? You mentioned meditation and prayer is different.
Yeah. You may have seen in the video about the T-bar.
Yes.
T-bar balance. So Japanese people have the cross shape. Looks like a little T.
Okay, small T.
Yeah, and you visualize this and the pineal in the center of your head, and you have to make sure it's balanced. So if you see, look, if it's like this or like this, you keep balance, straight, 90-degree angle. Then you balance your brain, and you can project out your thought in a way that is beneficial for you yourself.
And you mentioned that the royal blue is the key, but I couldn't understand. Do we have to look at the blue first and do the visualization?
It depends on the person. Some people, they can just see it. Sometimes you need visual aid. It depends on the person.
I see.
You know, after practice, you can just see it mentally. Yeah. So, but use a visual aid if you need to do that. Yeah. If you look at something royal blue, close your eyes, royal blue. And you have the royal blue.
I see. So before going to the visualization, I see.
Yeah. And then after a while, you can just do on your own. You don't need to look at anything.
Right, right.
You with practice.
Interesting. And in the video that it's interesting that you mentioned about the bipolar.
Bipolar mean they can only function on one side at a time. And that's why it's important to have three names. So your first name is your left brain. Your second name is your pineal. Third is right brain. So if you only have two names, you have this, but no balance.
I see.
So I know there's many cultures where they don't use a middle name. So I suggest you use a middle name that is culturally appropriate and maybe family appropriate for the person, and that will create balance, energy.
I see, I see. So we can also control by preparing that kind of a structure.
Yes, yes, yes.
And how about the breathing technique? Do you also teach breathing technique in your seminar as well?
Oh, yes, I do. I do teach this. You know, there's not only one specific way. It depends what is works best for you. Some people need to do the breathing. Some people can just automatically get to where they need to go mentally. It again depends on the person.
I see.
You know, like some people can sing, some people have to practice to sing, but you can find techniques to get to where you want to be.
I see. I think a cleansing technique is very important.
Yes, I believe we believe the fasting every week for a couple of days is a good way to purge the body and to open up the mind. And so this helps a lot as well.
Thank you. And a lot of people are focusing on getting a lot of supplement. What do you think about the supplement?
It depends on the supplement. You know, not everybody needs different things. And so it depends. When I do my body scan, I look to see what the person needs, and I make those suggestions. Not everybody needs the same thing. Depends on the person.
Could you advise to the Japanese audience, you know, what do we need to start from now? Well,
first of all, balance. That's important because I don't think you use middle name too much. You maybe learn to use middle name. Protection technique is very important. Connecting to oversoul, all the things that I have mentioned to you, working with the energy field of the body. This is very important. I find that Japanese people are not always grounded. They're not always grounded. So the color brown creates grounding energy. So when you feel like you need to ground, you put brown, balance, and then you are grounded. So this also helps.
Okay. And how can we follow you? Do you have like a website you mentioned?
Yes, expansions.com. EXPANSIONS.com.
Okay.
Expansions.
Thank you so much, Stuart. And do you have like any plan for the new publication?
We have I have 3 books ready to come out to be published. Like I say, we have over 50 books already. So every time I say I'm not doing any more, then I do more. But if you go online to my site, you'll see all the books listed.
Thank you so much. You know, it was very interesting talk today. Uh,
Thank you.
Stuart, can I ask you two favor?
Sure.
One is, can you come back to my show again in future?
I would love to. I appreciate that you invite me.
Thank you. And the second thing, could you advise me? My goal is to talk with 100 true speaker in the world. You're one of them. And in future, can you advise me, who is like a good person for me to talk to in the future?
Yeah, I to be honest, I don't look at the work of other people. But you have to be careful. I would just say stay away from the new age people because this is a mind control. But people like Laura Eisenhower, they have a good heart, and they like to help people. Yeah, but you will learn. You will see. You will attract the one that is right for you.
Thank you so much for your information, and we have a lot of hope now. And hope please keep connected with us.
Yes, I would have loved to give you information as I find it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Should appreciate for your time today.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate and be invited.
Do you have any donation function for me to contribute financially for your work?
Oh, thank you. Yes, on our website is donation
Okay.
button, and you will see that when you go on the site.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you so much for your time
Thank
today.
you.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye
Okay.
now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.